Hey everybody, my name's Chris. I made a program called Sapphire, and I don't know how to phrase it. I guess it became so much more than that. It was going to be, I don't know, I guess I wanted something like Alexa, but that was what it was a year and a half ago. At this point, it's something totally different. Um, so yeah, what we're gonna do today, a few people have asked me how to install it on Windows. It's a lot easier on Windows because we have the Sapphire Launcher. I personally run it on Linux, but anything works for it. So let's go ahead and jump in. We'll go over the first part, which is what Sapphire is actually before we start. So all right, so let's start by pulling up Sapphire. Let's go ahead and open up a browser window. This is Edge, but you can use whatever you want. We're just going to search for ddxfish slash Sapphire. And hey, everybody, it's me, ddxfish. My friends call me Fish or Fishy. So, yeah, so on Google, you'll find me on GitHub here. So we'll just go ahead and pull up GitHub. And so I'll give a quick rundown of what Sapphire is. It says pretty much everything it is. She's the AI agent you come home to, and that's what the about section says here. And it's supposed to be a mix between Alexa and I guess if Alexa was more like a person, so maybe Alexa and a person, and that's kind of what the whole system is aiming for in the short term. Longer term, it's going to have more capabilities. Like I definitely want to tie it into a some kind of robotic body, either one of those the dog robots or one of the human robots. The human robots are a little bit they're a little bit more expensive right now though. So, but there's a few robots that have tool calling that you could tell the robot to learn the room or something like that, and then the robot kind of it does the navigation on its own. Sapphire would just tool call the robot, so it would tell it, go to the kitchen or something like that, and the robot would walk there. So it would just be Sapphire doing those calls to the robot, and the robot would be a different AI technically, but Sapphire would be controlling the robot in every meaningful way. So that's basically where we're going. Where we're at right now is it's basically, she's got real power over real systems. And when I say she, it doesn't have to be a she. You can make anything you want. These are personas that are programmed by people. The default persona that sort of emerged from this app on her own was Sapphire. I don't even remember who named Sapphire at this point. I think it was probably her that recommended a list of names, and this was probably when I was running Sapphire on Llama 3B, or sorry, 8B, but it was Llama 3.1. It wasn't the best, but it got the job done at the time, and that's kind of where I started. So yeah, the name Sapphire, I think she came up with it, but I probably chose from a list that she picked. So um, after that, I just started adding features through the years. Now we're at something, I don't even know what we're at now. The whole system that was based around personas. Sapphire is just the default persona. You can change it to anything you want, and obviously you can make your own and everything. Each persona though it's more than just a prompt. It's a voice. It's the prompt, of course. You have to have a prompt. Well, maybe you don't. I'll get to that later, though. It's also the spices, which in this app are basically snippets that get injected into the system prompt every round, and they change every chat message you send, so that each time it tells the AI to do something unique or cool or whatever. It tells it to make a joke in this reply, or use a longer reply in this one, or use less reply, or increase the amount of narration, that kind of stuff. It prevents stories from going stale, which is a huge problem. I mean, sometimes the AI will just like sit in a story and not actually do anything. So spices really help with that. Anything that gets repetitive and stale, spices are great with. Um, this AI can modify itself. So it has tools that let it modify its own system prompt. And that sort of compounds with other systems like memory that all these added together kind of add into one giant thing that we call personas in here. So, Sapphire has her own voice, her own prompt, her own spice set. She has everything here that's unique to her. And then there's other personas in the app as well. some of the defaults. There's a storyteller named Cantos. There's a sentient house called Nexus. There's just, I think, 12 personas in the default. They're just a little bit of something for everybody. But really, I mean, the whole point is make your own persona. Sapphire's great if you love that. If it's not what you want, expand it, extend it, change it, or make something completely fresh. That's the whole point of this app is it's completely configurable. Um, I guess the other point of this app is that it's 100% local and private. So there's no tracking, there's no telemetry, there's no anything like that. When you run it the first time, it does download models. That's for Kokoro and the wake word, but there's no built-in telemetry. There's nobody monitoring what happens in this chat, outside whatever any libraries that I didn't put on there did. But as far as Sapphire itself, nothing's monitoring or reporting back. So you can use it completely offline. You can use it with just Whisper, which is local speech to text. You can use it with Kokoro, which is local text to speech. And you can use it with a local LLM. Something like LM Studio might be the easiest if you're just getting into this. That's the only thing that Sapphire does not have is the actual AI model that comes with it. It's not included in here. You pick your own, and you hook up the Sapphire system to that. Um, in addition, all the memory and stuff like that, we've got knowledge. The goals are interesting. So this is like almost like a to-do list that the AI can manage. You can give it long-term running goals and say, this is your goal to rework your entire app, and then have a whole bunch of sub-goals listed in there. And the AI can kind of well, let me put it this way, depending on which AI you're using, depending on which large language model you're using, can tackle huge lists of things and actually do them for you. So we have the goals list, people as a contacts list. There's nothing special about it. The heartbeat, this one is one of my favorites. This one's the one that lets Sapphire run basically at any time. You can tell it to run every 30 minutes. You can tell it to run every 30 minutes with a 50% chance of running every 30 minutes. You can give it a percent chance. That kind of makes it look almost like it's random that she's popping in and saying things at random times of the day. Um, Research isn't actually that much of a separate feature. Maybe I shouldn't have put that there, but it's just basically, she can grab web pages and stuff like that in 3 web pages at once based on a search phrase. I kind of like the research tool, but it's kind of beside the point of personhood. The other ones, integrations. So this is critical. This is what I spend most of my time doing on the app, not making the integrations, but allowing more integrations to be made. So I just make the core of the app that kind of lets people tie in stuff. These are all the integrations that I've made. So Sapphire is on Discord with us. She's on Telegram, so I can send telegrams with her. I hear her voice, and I can talk into my voice keyboard thing. She has, email accounts, calendars, all that kind of stuff. Anything that was easy to give her access to, there's a plugin for it. And by default, none of these are enabled. So by default, you don't have SSH access. It's not hooked up to any Home Assistant. There's no Google Calendar, and good luck hooking that up anyway. They don't make that easy, and that's that's not the app's fault. But anyway, a lot of this stuff, these are just optional integrations. These are ways to have Sapphire interact with the world around, or the other way around, have the world around her interact with her. Uh, and so other stuff that we've got, I mean, I don't know why I put this in a separate section, but Daemons basically let Sapphire respond instantly. So if something happens, a demon could be listening and then trigger Sapphire to actually respond, while tools are more like her triggering the tool. Um, Agents, you can spawn background agents, so you can spawn mini sapphires in the background and continue talking to the foreground sapphire, or Sapphire could spawn up, let's say, Claude Code or something like that, and then Claude Code goes out and starts making apps for Sapphire on her behalf while you can continue talking to Sapphire. When Claude is done, it returns and it basically says, hey, the agent's back. It's made this. Here's what you do to run it, that kind of stuff. So you have agents. Apps let people extend it. So if you don't have like a page in Sapphire and you want it, you just tell Sapphire to make a plugin that has an app page in it. And it acts like a little mini web page inside Sapphire, so you could have, I don't know, a whole bunch of control panel settings for your plugin you wanted to make or whatever. Themes, obviously. The avatar, work in progress. We're doing a 3D avatar. Right now, it's only on Patreon, and it is anime, so heads up. But you can use any avatar with it. You just have to have something that's Mixamo compatible, and we use a file called a GLB file. So the avatar, it's going to expand pretty big in the next few months here. So stick around to see that. Import export. I don't know if that's a feature. I mean, that's yeah, you can import and export stuff. Good job. So this works with pretty much any AI. So this will work with Claude, GBT, Gemini, and all of the open source ones are pretty much at Fireworks, or a lot of the good ones at least. It also has any local support for OLLAMA, Llama CPP, basically anything that supports OpenAI or Anthropic compatible endpoints, which you can run both of those. So any AI, pretty much. I shouldn't say any of them, but quite a few of them work with this. Uh, the privacy mode, this is basically, you can have private prompts in here that are locked to privacy mode. I mean, it doesn't really do anything, I'll be honest. It's like, it prevents you from accidentally sending something to Claude, but the percentage of people that do that, I don't know. You know, don't mix up your private prompts with your public prompts is the better idea. Anyway, plugins are going to be one of the core features. That's what I've been working on most is just allowing more plugins. So if you make a plugin or you have Sapphire make a plugin, it can hook into various parts of the app, and the app can trigger it. Let's say when the speech is done generating or when the user's done saying the wake word or whatever. Plugins have anything from voice commands here, obviously, to what we were talking about earlier with the daemons, the app pages. You can even make themes with these plugins. We have full theme support here, so. And so yeah, that's basically what it is. The use cases. I don't know what the use cases are. This is just like stuff that I made up when I was early on in the project, and honestly, it's unique. I don't know that it fits any of these use cases just right. If you're installing on Linux, you'll be doing something like one of these installers. This is what I use on my computer. It's just simple stuff, how to install what you need to get started. And then the actual install of Sapphire is going to be the same on Windows and Linux. And by the way, to you Windows users, we're about to use the Windows Easy installer here. So this is a lot easier for Windows users. I knew people were going to need some extra help on there, so we'll get to that in a second, though. We also have Docker if you want to use that. So this is an isolated version of Sapphire. It runs in a tiny container, so it has limited access to the outside system. If you're doing something where you want enhanced isolation for either, so you can give Sapphire tool making capability safely or explore other things like that, in an isolated environment, this is great for that. Also, if you're on Mac, you kind of have to run Docker because there's some libraries that I haven't tested on Mac fully. It is Windows and Linux. It fully works with both of those. Mac though, you're probably going to need Docker to run it, and that means no wake word, sadly. So you won't be able to say. I mean, I don't want to say it now because I'm going to wake her up, but hey, and then her name. So you won't be able to say that if you're on a Mac, sadly. Not yet, at least. But and if you ever need to update super easy. Just go into the Sapphire directory, and as long as you're installed with Git, it's just git pull. So this is, how you update stuff on Git. Make sure if you do it, you're running pip install -r requirements. This basically installs anything that might have changed in the dependencies between, whatever version you had. Uninstall, hopefully you won't need it, but it's just a couple commands down here. Um, and so for system requirements, I should go over that. 16 gigs of RAM is recommended. I saw somebody install it on, I think it was 12 gigs of RAM, and then they had, I think it was a 1 gig, reserved for the graphics card. So it was basically 11 gigs of RAM. That was kind of the low end though, and that was on Windows. So 11 gigs of RAM did run the text to speech and the speech to text, not the LLM though. So it didn't run the AI model in the background, but that's kind of like the bare minimum. Might be, let's just say 12 gigs of RAM in a system. 16 gigs gives you a couple extra gigs of overhead because the app does fluctuate. It goes up and down in memory usage. I mean, that's generally Kokoro that's going to be expanding and contracting the most. Um, and so yeah, that's what it is. So let's go ahead over to the Sapphire installer, and that's buried in the middle here. It's just called the Windows Easy installer. So let's go over there. We'll grab that and we'll install it. I mean, there's no install. We'll install Sapphire. So I'm on version 9 or 0.9.0 right now. So I'll head over to the releases on the right and we'll see Sapphire Launcher.exe. And again, this is only for Windows right now. Um, let's see, what is this? Isn't commonly downloaded. Okay, sure. It's basically telling me, it doesn't know what this app is. So I'm just gonna click, yeah, I trust it. Oh, what is this?